Alright, this lesson is about managing housing costs. These are sometimes forgotten. If you buy a house, there are many costs associated with that. Once you own the house, there are all kinds of maintenance issues. Okay? So what are some types of repairs that a home might need? Well, probably the most common is, you paint when something needs protection. Maybe you have some furnace issues. Maybe there is some, maybe a toilet backs up, so some plumbing. Maybe light fixtures break or burn out. Your roof might have issues. Maybe it starts to leak. Okay, all kinds of things could happen. What would be considered an emergency? Well, that's a pretty vague question. Here's an emergency. Your furnace conks out in the middle of winter and it's minus 40. Okay, that could be an example. On the other hand, air conditioning wouldn't be an emergency. We can live in the heat. Okay, another emergency might be all of a sudden you start getting water in your basement. Maybe there's a leak. Maybe there's some structural damage or something. So let's put that in there. Okay, so let's take an example here. The roof of a house is 5 years old. With good care, it should last 15 to 30 years. That's probably fair. Older shingles, the older style, they used to say they have 25-year life expectancy. Now the new ones, they say they should last about 40 years. So that's a pretty fair number. Suppose Henry does not do preventative maintenance. What expensive emergency repairs might he have to do later? Well, what regular job should you do to protect your roof? Well, there's a few things. If there are branches that are dragging on the roof, you should cut them down. You should cut those off. You shouldn't have shingles be damaged. Okay? You should look for snow and ice buildup. If there's snow and ice building up, then you risk ice jams and water seeping underneath shingles. Okay? You might want to clean out your eaves troughs. Why would you want to clean out your eaves? Well, if they build up with, say, leaves, then maybe the water starts backing up and doesn't run away from the house like it's supposed to. Okay, so those are just some examples. I mean, obviously there could be more. If you all of a sudden have a windstorm and maybe some shingles blow off. Okay, replace shingles that are missing. Okay, now what if he doesn't do those jobs? What if he just kind of assumes that the roof's going to be fine? What kind of expensive, that's the key, emergency repairs might this house need? Well, maybe it starts to leak. And then you have water damage inside. Okay, walls get rotten, you can get mold. Alright, then maybe what you're going to have to do is replace the roof or repair the roof. So then that's bigger than shingles. Rather than just having to fix the shingles, which not that bad, you have to start replacing the roof. That's pretty serious. Okay, so small repairs usually fix big ones later. Important to recognize. Okay, so let's look at a question that has some numbers in here now. Dylan and Kyra pay about $1,700 a year to heat their house with a conventional furnace. The cost of buying and installing a high-efficiency furnace is $4,800. How long would it take for the energy savings to pay for a new high-efficiency furnace? Okay, so what's the efficiency of an old furnace and a new furnace? Well, typically, old furnaces are about 80% efficient. New ones claim to be closer to 95% efficiency. Okay, so how do we do this? Well, if we want to calculate this, it says the heating cost with the new furnace is the efficiency of the old furnace divided by the efficiency of the new furnace times old annual cost. So I can figure that that formula out. I'll go 0.8 over 0.95 times 1,700. Okay, and what does that equal? Alright, this is $1,431.58. So this would be the heating cost with the new furnace. You can see that's quite a bit less, right? So how much would you save on heating costs? And let's put this in a year. Okay, so we were paying $1,700. Now we're paying $1,431. And what is that going to equal? Okay, that's 42 cents. And you got $268.42. That's what you would save every year. Okay, so how long would it take for the energy savings to cover the cost of the new furnace? Well, if we go 4,800, which is the cost of the new furnace, and divide it by 268.42, let's see what that is. 4,800 divided by 268.42. So this would take 17.9 years to pay for that new furnace. Okay, so you got to ask yourself, is that worth it? Well, here would be my advice on that. If your furnace is working, it's probably not worth it to replace. On the other hand, if one day you find out you need a new furnace, that's the time to buy the energy efficient one, because then you're going to save money from then on. And the reality is you need to buy a new furnace anyways, you might as well buy the efficient one. Okay? Next, try the monthly heating payment for a home is $250. What is a homeowner's heating costs for 5 years? Okay, so if I have to pay $250 and I pay that every month and I pay that for 5 years, what does that equal? That's a lot of money. $15,000. Okay, next let's talk about another expense. If a homeowner installs new windows, it will reduce heating costs by 30%. Calculate the homeowner's expected heating costs for 5 years if new windows are installed. Okay, so this is what we're paying, $15,000. Now, if we reduce by 30%, let's take 30% of that. So this is $4,500. So that's how much we could save every year. Actually, not, this is over 5 years. We could save that much over 5 years. Okay. So the question says, if the homeowner installs the new windows, it will reduce the heating costs. Calculate the homeowner's expected heating costs for 5 years if new windows were installed. Well, instead of paying $15,000, you would pay $10,500. Okay, that's for 5 years. So that's money you would save. That's $4,500 you could use to spend on the windows. Now the windows will be a lot more than that, but sometimes you need new windows. Okay, the total cost for the windows is $12,000. Explain whether replacing windows is a good financial decision. Well, here's the easy way. In 5 years, you save $4,500. Windows cost $12,000. So we're going to say actual cost for 5 years is $12,000 take away $4,500. Okay, which is $7,500. Okay, that's the actual cost in 5 years. Okay, so then you think to yourself, all right, well, if I keep doing that, eventually the new windows will pay for themselves because I'm going to save that much money every year. Okay, how long do windows last? This is the key. Okay, new windows actually last pretty long. Okay, some of them have lifetime warranties. That means, you know, if you're going to own your house for many, many, many years, you're going to save $4,500 every 5 years. Eventually, you're going to pay for those windows. In fact, we can calculate that. If we save $4,500 in 5 years, this means we're saving $900 a year. Okay, let's figure out how long it would take to pay that $12,000 off if we're saving $900 every year. This means in 13.3 years, the cost of the windows is paid for in savings from heat. Okay, and the windows, because they are going to last longer than 13.3 years, this is a good decision. Now, it's not always a good decision. If your windows are still really good, maybe that's money you want to save for now. What if you're going to move in a year or two? Then you don't achieve those savings. If you're going to stay in that house, it's a good decision. Okay? So, here's your next homework assignment. Please finish that.